You're welcome back. This is Newsfile. It's your most authoritative news analysis platform. And here on Newsfile, we put Ghana first. I promised that today I was going to do my take on the NMC. Yes, I have it, but for the sake of time, I shelve it and I invite you to read it later. In my take, I show that the report, so-called purported report of the NMC, is farcical, and it is only intended to destroy a very important institution. And I show 20 reasons why every bit of evidence, every bit of point made by Manasseh or multimedia had evidence backing it, but none of the points made by the government had a single evidence backing it, and yet you had the outcome you had. So later you can read my 20 questions and issues about what I call the farcical report claimed to belong to the NMC's panel. Now, something happened last night, and it's taking social media by storm. And you have forensic analysts on social media already, people who know how to, examine human, remains, making claims. All of a sudden, experts all over the place. But how did this happen? There's been a retrieval of remains, human remains, that are associated or retrieved at the spot or at the residence of the suspect in the 3 missing girls in Taadi who went missing. That's about a year ago, right? We've done about a year. And the association is that they may have died, they may have been killed. But what are the facts? We'll deal with that very briefly. Let me go to the phone lines and speak to Kojo Yankson. Kojo Yankson is right there and has gotten a lot of information as to what is going on. Yes, Kojo, what can you report? What do we know at this point about this operation by the police last night?
Good morning, Samson. I can tell you what we know and what we don't know, so
all right,
that we are clear. What we know is that yesterday, at some point in the afternoon, a house in Kansarodo, which is a suburb of Takoradi, suddenly saw a lot of activity from the police. First, a few officers arrived, and then a few more, and then some others arrived with sirens blaring. This house is the rented property of Samuel Udoteg Wills, the Nigerian prime suspect in the Takoradi kidnapping case. Very soon, the house was cordoned off and the police were conducting a search. They did some weeding around a septic tank on the property, and then a tanker was brought in to suck out all the contents of the tank, following which some remains were retrieved from this tank. Now, the remains are specifically skulls, human skulls, or skulls that appear to be human. They were then boxed away and taken away by the forensic team. This is what we know for a fact.
And the human skulls you refer to, the human skulls you refer to are more than one, correct?
Yes, correct. There were 2.
Okay.
There were 2 human skulls.
Right. And this,
what we do not know is who these skulls actually belong to, whether or not they belong to any of the missing Takoradi girls.
Right.
What we know is that Samuel Wills himself was there on the scene with the police when this search was done. And we also know that the police brought in sniffer dogs, part of the operation to find these skulls. Now, the police are working with a certain theory, according to the sources I have been speaking to within the Western Regional Police Command. Now, they are working with a theory that some bodies were disposed of by Samuel Wills. And as part of that theory, there is an informant who told them that on the night before Samuel Wills was first arrested, and as we know, he was arrested first, he escaped, on the 31st of December, he escaped lawful custody, and he was rearrested on the 3rd of January 2019.
Right.
So on the night of his on the night before his first arrest was on the 22nd of December. So the night of 21st, this neighbor was in his own private latrine, which has a back onto a bushy area, and he could overhear Samuel Wills, who has a very distinctive accent, speaking on a phone somewhere in the bush. And in this phone conversation was explaining to somebody, some unidentified person, that he would hide it. He would hide it. So the police have now turned this particular bushy area into a secondary crime scene, if you will,
right.
Where they are expecting to find some clues to whatever was hidden.
Okay.
And that is the current theory, according to my sources in the Western Regional Police Command.
All right.
Of course, we are here now in Takrady on the ground. We will be picking up lots more information,
right.
and we will brief you as it comes in.
We'll wait for that. Thank you very much, Kojo Yankson. And Kojo Yankson is with Joynews, the AM show, more particularly, and he's there. So you can keep your dials on the multimedia platforms. The story broke on the multimedia platforms, and more will be brought to you as they unravel what exactly is going on as far as this issue is concerned. Now, let me get my guests to give me a minute or two each of their views as to what is going on. The police have, in fact, issued a statement, and in the statement, they have confirmed that this is the operation that has gone on there, and that they have indeed retrieved this remain. But they are yet to take them to the forensic laboratory and do the necessary work to be able to make any pronouncement. But the general public already appear to have their conclusions that these were the girls and that they have been murdered. Okay, so Ejapa, that's closer to you. So let's hear, Mr. Mesa, let's hear your 1 minute take on what is going on and what we should do, and the parents also and the relations should do.
Very well. Good morning to my colleagues here and to our cherished viewers and listeners. I guess got the news at the same time as almost all of us did yesterday evening on my way from a program on UTV, when I heard on Joynews that the police had issued a statement indicating that they found some human remains and that they were yet to conduct some forensic examination to determine whether these were the girls or not. I was taken aback a little bit that why the statement if the forensics had not been done. But now I was prepared to give them the benefit of the doubt because, of course, the operation was conducted in the neighborhood where others reside. People definitely must have seen the police conducting that operation. They possibly could have seen that some human remains had been recovered. And so rather than for the police to wait for the issue to be put out there and speculated upon, it was important for them to inform the people of Ghana that following their investigations, this is what had been done. Having said that, I think that it is important that we quickly get the police to conclude their forensic investigations to provide that with some certainty as to whether indeed these were the girls. Of course, you can easily conjecture that if these bodies or remains were found within the immediate proximity of the suspects' former residence, then chances are that these may be the girls who have been missing all this while.
Okay.
It would be unfortunate, particularly having regard to all the matters, information that have been put out there by the police themselves. And I recall the Minister of Interior only a few days ago indicating in Parliament that they had actionable intelligence which they were going to act upon to get these girls.
Okay.
I'm only hoping that indeed these are not the girls. Of course, even if it were not the girls, these are Ghanaian citizens whose remains have been found.
Whichever way.
So whichever way you look at it,
right.
It's really, really disturbing.
Okay.
I was completely shaken last night.
Let me hear from John. And the Samuel Udotuk Wales is actually been convicted when he attempted to escape jail. So he's a convict. The police issued a statement and they said, as part of investigations into the 3 Takoradi kidnapped girls, do you think that they are to blame in any way for the manner in which it has been reported to suggest that these are the girls who have been found dead?
First of all, this is quite a matter that has drawn public attention. And I want to commend Multimedia. You have been consistent on this matter. You have pushed and pushed, and it looks like we are getting to this level.
Yeah.
Yes. If you look at, like my colleague said, one, the claim is that that's where the suspect lived. That's number one. The claim is that is the suspect
the police says the building was previously occupied by the convict.
That is the point. And so if the building was previously occupied by the suspect, then there's a high linkage. And if you make any deduction, you might then be thinking that they may be the people we're thinking of. But the point is there's only a forensic investigation that can establish that. One, maybe the police shouldn't have rushed in putting this information out. I thought that they would have conducted forensic investigation. Now the families are going to be in very serious, difficult situation. I hope that they are also engaged with the family in terms of information sharing and all that.
We so should have been a covert operation.
I think so. That's what maybe they but finally, I hope that the findings will be made public, because then the issue of the minister's comment, the police administration's comment, in terms of the time periods when they claimed they knew they were alive, in terms of the claim that some of them may have been taken out of the country and all that. We are not there yet. But I'm saying that let's share information as much as possible, and let's ensure that we get a finality as far as this matter is concerned. Okay. But I'm told that it's 2 skulls and not 3.
2, yeah.
In the media, I read 3, but I'm happy Joy is giving us an accurate information.
All right. So the police statement, however, said the discovered human remains. They didn't say there were skulls. They just said human remains. Yes, so Ben, very disturbing, because we are listening to some of the women, particularly in the area, those who have been campaigning, for the girls to be found, and they are very disturbed about this piece of news.
Yeah, I mean, it must be really worrying for the family. It really kills hope, the way the whole process has been managed. You go into such a scene with sirens blaring, and you attract everybody to come around to see what is happening. And I don't know whether the place was cordoned off to ensure that the public at least did not see what they were uncovering. So the whole process probably was poorly managed. Okay. And we now don't know whether it's the girls, but the hope of this families are being killed. So quickly they will need to go through the forensic investigation.
Especially one of the girls, the father was interviewed, and he said that he had also been told earlier that the dress that the daughter was wearing was found in the premises. And so it actually puts them in a situation where they can't think beyond the speculation now.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe the dress was just taken off and is lying there. But at this point, hopes are killed, and we have to manage that process to ensure that at least to attend to the family, have some psychologists working with them. In the meantime, whilst investigations are carried out speedily to ensure that.
Very important note there, David. Certainly would need psychologists' attention. All the people who have the experience that can assist ought to be going in to assist them. So let's hope the police will take all of this into consideration. Prof, you don't think so?
I think so. I'm very sad. I just can't imagine what the parents have been going through for almost a year or so. I felt perhaps they've had more than enough in terms of what the human body, psychology, emotions can actually bear. I want to believe that perhaps the police came out to the statement because of the public attention, or the fact that maybe they suspect social media would have reported this, and there will be a call on them perhaps to give some information, whether this or that. But
when you go to the scene with sirens, what else do you expect?
You know, I'm just thinking that this should not divide us as a country. Let's work with our institutions with all the weaknesses that they have. Genuinely, they might have erred in some of the processes and even how it has been managed. But we have one police institution as a country.
Right.
So let's bear with them. And more importantly, let's bear with the families. Not only the families, but even the community, the town, the fear, the panic. People who have children, they're going to school, the state of mind, their classmates, their colleagues, friends, and perhaps anyone who is willing, who has some kind of insight, psychology-wise, whatever that can offer to the family, let's do so. My heart, our prayers, our support are with them. You don't have to be in that situation to feel what it feels like. I'm just hoping that the Lord will strengthen them for them to go through this.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And we can all hope and pray that they will be found alive. But these skulls, who do they belong to? And what can be done in the circumstances?